What do you regret doing in a dare? Running the bases naked and sliding into home. All was okay until the slide. Someone dared me to go up to my crush and ask if she clogged up my toilet at my house. She said yes. Not me. But my brother's friend was dared to spray an entire can of deodorant on the back of his hand. 3rd degree aerosol burn and permanent scarring. Running a friend over. He said he wanted to be a stunt guy. I had a crappy old car. We dared him to get hit by a car. I was aslo dared to hit him. Long story short, he went to the hospital and I needed a new windshield. Lucky he didn't sue me. Riding my skateboard down a large road hill a second time. 5 torn ligaments. 4 surgeries over 10 years and still more problems to come. Licking a frozen pole during winter. Arsh TFCK, that hurts. I was 7 years old when I did it. Full on tongue on a metal chain from the swings. Recess bell rang and everybody was leaving and left me there. Well, as dumb as I was, I just yanked my head backwards and had an awful taste of blood for 2 weeks. To this day. During a primary school camp. In the boys' cabin I was in, we were doing truth or dare. I decided to join in. I chose to be asked a truth. I was asked who my crush was. And I told truthfully. A week later my crush came to me to tell me she did not like me. When I asked who told her, she just said James. There's 2 Jameses in my year level. They were both in that cabin. I have no idea which one snitched. Never played truth or dare after that. Got my scrotum, professionally, pierced at a house party. I still remember looking down, drunkenly, to see a good friend and pisser cleaning my balls while a good chunk of my friends watched on. Thankfully this was before social media and smartphones. When I was a teenager I tried the cinnamon challenge. For those unaware, you take a spoonful of ground cinnamon and try to eat it. And it doesn't go well, lol. I put it in my mouth. And it immediately sucked all of the moisture out of my mouth and sinuses. To make matters worse, the drying out of my sinuses caused me to sneeze, making cinnamon fly out of both of my nostrils like a dragon snorting flames. I then proceeded to dry heave in the bathroom for the next 5 minutes or so. Pretty sure fate was the most miserable 5 minutes of my life so far. I still can't stand the taste of cinnamon. More than 10 years later. The cinnamon challenge can really FCK you up if you end up deeply inhaling a bunch of powdered cinnamon. Your lung tissue will not like it and get really inflamed. That can start filling your lungs up with fluid. That's bad. Was dared to get naked and run outside. I say naked, but in actuality I was left with my underwear and a stupid hat. My friends locked me out there for about 15 to 20 minutes while they were shooting me with a BB gun. Fun times. Asking a girl out for a joke. Turns out she had a almost maniac overly protective boyfriend. He beat the shit out of me. This wasn't adulthood, mind you. This was in early teenager years. So please don't overreact. Edit. If all you did was just ask her out. That's not an overly protective boyfriend. That's a full-blown psycho. Taking off my shirt and flexing my pecs for a slightly drunk female roommate and her cousin. But they kept singing the Get Your Tits Out song. At summer camp female was playing truth or dare with a small group of 10-12 year olds. They dared me to kiss this boy. But the boy didn't want to participate. They pressured him into sitting in a chair while the rest of the group formed a circle around us until I kissed him on the mouth. My family found out later and I was given an early lesson on consent and peer pressure. Oh man. In my 20s. I was one of those quiet people who would get drunk and suddenly have all of the personality in the world. In one particular instance. On dares. I kissed a dude and showed a whole party of people the goat. The fact that a whole group of my friends were subject to seeing my balls and probably my butthole too is one of those thoughts that hits me as I'm trying to fall asleep at night. Certainly not the worst thing in the world. But when I was 19 I jumped off a pier into the water. Turns out the water was shallow and I fractured my foot. I only regret it because I have always been a cautious and calculating person. In this instance I just wanted to be liked and it ended up with me in an Italian emergency room. So I guess the regret isn't jumping. What I regret is thinking I needed people to think I was cool. Once my friends made me hump a wall in 7th grade and said I wouldn't do it because I was chicken. I did it. They told on me. Got sent to the office. Pissed off as they told everyone about relative stuff. Edit. Holy crap, I've never gotten so many upvotes. Thanks everyone. Eating a slug for 50p. You can die from parasites doing this shitty. Kid in Australia accepted that dare and was paralyzed for 10 years before dying. He got $5 Aussie dollars though. Drinking a glow stick. I was around 11. It was a few days after Halloween. And I was having a sleepover, so of course we played truth or dare. When I was dared to drink a glow stick, I didn't even think twice about it. Once my friends started freaking out about my bright green saliva, I ran downstairs crying and had to have my mom help me rinse out my mouth. Only to see this glowing shitty going down the drain. It's funny now. But I honestly thought I was going to die at that point. Someone once dared me to profess my undying love to a friend of mine. She immediately burst into tears and ran out of the room. Turns out she had a crush on me. Neither of us knew till one of her friends yelled at us. Drinking the fish tank water when I was 13. I had to kiss my crush as a dare and in broad daylight. So I did, and then everybody figured out I had a crush on insert name. Man. Names get weirder every year. Running around a house naked. When I was 8 I got the dare to go lay on a piece of wood in the woods. The wood was very old and all torn up, so my dumbass brain thought that if I laid on the corner I would be fine. But then as I was falling down onto the wood I noticed there was a f-king nail. Yes, a rusty, long, bent nail pointing towards my fat f-king stomach. I lay down and chaos ensued. The nail went halfway into my stomach and when I went to get up I ripped the nail out of the board. So there I am crying in pain, running back to my friends as the nail falls out. Then of course, as I thought anything couldn't get worse, I step on the f-king nail. But it fails to go in my foot. Later when I told my mom the next day, she convinced me I was sick from tetanus. I got a tetanus shot later that day. And that is the story of me getting impaled by the same nail 2 times. I had to read the Communist Manifesto. We was at the after party of an office Christmas party in a hotel room. We had a huge Rubbermaid bucket full of ice water and drinks. Someone started playing Bob for beers. A collection was started and I was dared to hold my head underwater for 60 seconds. The tip of my nose had to touch the bottom the whole time. I did it and earned about $40 bucks. But my ears were f-ked for years afterwards. Got ear and sinus infections almost weekly. About 6 months after this I was on a flight and my ears plugged up so bad on the landing I had to go to the ER. The pain was excruciating. Took about 3 years to return to what I would consider normal. That was the hardest worked for $40 bucks ever. Commenting asthma sucks in an asthma subreddit. Running around the neighborhood screaming I love being f-ked in the ass. Wearing only boxers. In the middle of the day. I never regret my dares. But I know a guy that done a dare that I still think about 15 years later and I wasn't even there. Basically there was a few guys and one of them took a shitty on a piece of tin foil and they dared another in the group to eat it and they'd give him a cute sati as well. He did it and the video went all over my school. That time I sucked that dude's. Never mind. Bro. Don't tell me you sucked his toe. Showing my breast to my friends. Also with a lot of boys. It was dark. But I still regret it. My brother dared me to drink his mystery drink. No. It wasn't cum or anything like that. It was hot sauce and vinegar. To this day I still don't trust him to make me drinks, lol. So we just gonna skip over the bestiality? The internet is getting so tame. 10 years ago when this question was asked, you'd get at least 10 stories of bestiality, 15 stories of incest, and 1 or 2 truly horrifying, freakishly weird stories like cumbox or poop knife. It wasn't really a dare, but I let my friends pepper spray me in the face because everyone else was doing it. We planned it out well, I think. We had towels on hand and large bowls filled with milk and ice water. It still hurt like a moth FK, and my brother recorded the whole thing. Oh, good one. Not me, but still good. I was once in a truth or dare game with 3 other friends, and I had to accept that my crush's dare was to kiss me and lick me on the cheek. I went over to a friend's house after work one time where it was just me, her, and her other friend. At some point it turned into truth or dare. Of course it was always dare, and it went about exactly as you'd expect it to go for a bunch of horny teenagers. But at some point my friend dared me to, specifically, FCK and come in her friend. As you might be able to tell by the throwaway. That's what happened. My family and I were playing a drinking game, and a part of that drinking game was someone could order 2 people to do something. The catch being the person giving the orders doesn't know who they are giving the orders to, which is decided by those left at the table. My mum was the one giving the orders, and there were A switches sweaters with B. And B will eat this dog treat. I was B. I ate the Doge treat. It was gross. Later that week we decided to play again because my little brother missed the first one and was bummed about it. This time I was the one giving orders and I wanted revenge. I picked up a niblet of the dog's food, thinking that whoever was made to eat it could just swallow it like a pill. Anyways, my orders were A finishes their drink and B eats this. My little brother was B, and much to my horror he doesn't take like a pill but chews and then swallows it. TL. DR. I made my brother eat piece of dog food. Ate a duck egg. At a party. Almost everyone except me knew it was spoiled. You would need one of those 10,000 frame per second camera to accurately capture the vomit explosion. One of my old friends told me just the other day. The explosion in Beirut reminded him of that awful night. Edit. Having an IV catheter shoved up my ass while about 25 others watched in awe and excitement. Never did I think 1/8 inch could feel like 20 inches pounding up your asshole. Yeet. It was my first time getting drunk. We were in a friend's trailer. His mom was staying the night somewhere else. We all get pretty wasted on natural light. One of my friends passes out. He's out cold. Or so we thought. Friend dares me to piss on his face to try to wake him up. Says he'll give me $5. I'm at that point of drunkenness where everything seems awesome and feeling like there are no consequences to anything. So I whip out my dick and start to piss on his face. He totally wakes up. I go running out of the trailer. Pants still down. Still pissing. Still laughing. Friends eventually got him calmed down. Or so we thought. The rest of that school year was hell for me. He never let it go. And I never got the $5 I was promised. Dude, WTF, let it go?